Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome back to Clues by Sam. We have another tricky one today, which is interesting. I'm looking forward to this. And if you don't know what Clues by Sam is, it's a daily logic puzzle game where you have 20 people on a board. Each of them may be a criminal or an innocent, and they give you clues to help you figure out who is what. If you want to play it before you watch the video or maybe play along with me, there is a link in the description, so you can go there. And if you just want to follow along, then let's start. We start with Donald telling us that exactly two of the three innocents in row 1 are in a corner. Row 1 has 3 innocents in 2 corners. So Aaron, who is in the other corner other than Donald, has to be an innocent as well. And we know that either Barb or Cheryl are an innocent and the other one is a criminal. Now, Aaron gives us a long clue. There are no innocents in between Cheryl and Wanda, who neighbor Gabe. Okay. So in between Cheryl and Wanda, the people who neighbor Gabe are Isaac and Noah. None of them are innocent, so both Isaac and Noah are criminals. We don't need Aaron's clue anymore, and now Isaac tells us that row 5 is the only row with exactly 3 criminals. Interesting because we don't know about the criminals in any other rows. Noah tells us that exactly 1 innocent in row 5 is neighboring Steve. And that's the single innocent in row 5 because row 5 has 3 criminals, according to Isaac. So the 1 innocent neighbors Steve, so that's either Vera, Wanda, or Xena, which means that Uma is for sure a criminal, since there's only 1 innocent. I guess we don't need Noah's clue anymore. And Uma tells us there are more criminal guards than any other... Oh, criminal guards than criminal teachers. I was going to say any other professions, but that wouldn't make sense. So, where are all the guards? We know for sure there's going to be 1 criminal teacher, right? Who's either going to be Barb or Cheryl. Do we have any more teachers anywhere? We have Aaron, who's an innocent. The clue's talking about criminals. So we have only 1 criminal teacher. But we have only 2 guards, which means that both of them have to be criminals, so that they're in more than 1. Right? And since now we know that there's 2 criminals in row 2, we know that either both Frank and Gabe are criminals or both of them are innocents, because only row 5 has 3 criminals. So we don't need Uma's clue anymore though. Now Janet tells us that only one of the 2 innocent neighboring rows is to the right of Uma. So the single innocent in row 5 is neighboring Rose, who is in row 4. So either Vera or Wanda, let's use another color, is the innocent in row 5, and now we know that Xena is a criminal. And we don't need Janet's clue anymore. Oh, we do need Janet's clue because it tells us the total for Rose. Rose only has 2 innocent neighbors. That's very few innocent neighbors for someone who has 8 neighbors total. But we don't know who's the second one yet, so let's look at Xena's clue. Only one of the 3 innocents neighboring Isaac is in column C. Column C is here. Where's Isaac? Here. So Isaac has 2 neighbors in column C, since he himself is in column C, and one of them is already a criminal. But the clue is talking about 1 innocent, and that has to be Cheryl, which means that Barb is a criminal. But we also know that Isaac has 3 innocent neighbors total from Xena's clue. So that tells us that Isaac has 1 more innocent neighbor. Let's leave that there to remind us of that. Now Cheryl tells us that exactly 2 of the 6 innocents on the edges total are Rose's neighbors. So Rose's second innocent neighbor is either Peter or Karen, because it's the second person that is an innocent and is on the edge. One of her innocent neighbors is going to be either Vera or Wanda, who are on the edge. Karen and Peter are the other people who are on the edge, and those are her 2 total innocent neighbors. which means that both Laura and Steve are criminal. And we don't need Cheryl's clue anymore. Now, I like how they're warning me that this is the tough part. What else do we know? How many people do we have on the edges already? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have one more person who's gonna be on the edge. What else do we know? What else do we know? Let me think about this. Isaac has 3 innocent neighbors, right? 3 innocent neighbors. Where's that clue telling me that? Isaac's highlighted, so I know there's a clue talking about that. Xena. Only one of the 3 innocents neighboring Isaac. So there's 3 innocents neighboring Isaac, which means that either Gabe or Ollie are an innocent. And let's say that Ollie is an innocent. Karen would have to be an innocent as well, because otherwise row 3 would have 3 criminals, and it couldn't be, since row 5 is the only one with 3 criminals. If Karen's an innocent, Peter would have to be a criminal. What would that make? Do we have anybody else that we need to keep in mind? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we have all 6 innocents on the edge. So Frank would be a criminal and Tom will be a criminal. We don't need Donald's clue anymore. And now Isaac has his total. Gabe has to be a criminal too. But what if Gabe were to be an innocent? Let's try that scenario and see. If Gabe were an innocent, Ollie would have to be a criminal, right? That will make it so that Karen would have to be a criminal as well, because like I said before, row 3 couldn't have 3 criminals. And that will make it so Frank would be an innocent, because row 2 couldn't have 3 criminals. Peter would be an innocent as well. And now do we have our 6 innocents on the edge? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I guess we know for sure that Tom is never gonna be an innocent. Because if Tom is an innocent, neither Frank nor Ollie could be one. Alright. And how would that work? I think I'm jumping the gun here, but I'm gonna try to make this plausible. This is right. What did I say, that Tom could never be an innocent? Yeah, there's no way for Tom to be an innocent. Because if Ollie is an innocent, then that's our 6th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If Ollie is an innocent, that's our 6th innocent on the edge. And if Ollie is not an innocent, then he would force Frank to be one. So Tom couldn't be the 6th innocent ever. Clear the non-colorful tags. Okay. Now Tom tells us that there are as many criminal guards as there are criminal judges. And we know there's 2 criminal guards. There's only 2 guards in total. So there has to be 2 criminal judges. How many judges in total do we have? 2. So that means that Vera is a criminal as well. And that makes Wanda an innocent. Now, we don't need Tom's clue anymore, but Vera tells us there's a number of criminals neighboring Noah. Where's Noah? Here. So we know that Noah is gonna have either Gabe or Ollie as an innocent neighbor. and one of them is a criminal. So that totals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 criminal neighbors. That's not an odd number, that's an even number. So Rose has to be the 7th criminal neighbor, and we don't need Vera's clue anymore. Now Rose tells us no new clues. Never stood a chance on what? Being criminals? Oh yeah, so now we know that row 4 has 3 criminals, but it couldn't be left with 3 because row 5 is the only one with 3. So Peter has to be a criminal as well, and that makes Karen an innocent. And that also makes Ollie an innocent, because if Ollie were to be a criminal, row 3 would have 3 criminals. So Ollie has to be an innocent, and that makes Gabe a criminal, and Frank as well. And we are done. That's a nice one. I enjoyed it. I thought the tough part was tough, but I had my mind in the game, so I managed. And I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it went well for you. Let me know if you did it. And yeah, I'll be back here tomorrow with more Clues by Sam. Bye bye.